Hi everyone, this is Bryce Coffee Travels. Thought I'd make this video about basically travel and when it comes to weather and how it can impact your trip and what to do to best predict and best prepare for weather when it comes to planning your trip, even if it's like um, months in advance, and like months in advance, or if it's like weeks in advance. You'd be surprised how the there's tools out there to help you understand and gauge, so that way you book a trip so where your destination's not like in the middle of monsoon, or if you probably know like shoulder season or like monsoon season or off peak season. You probably wouldn't want, like, maybe you've had the situation where you've had trips where there's like there's like a massive like like a storm happening this whole for a whole week in the middle of March or April in the Caribbean. Well, I want to show you a couple tools out there to help you with this, so that way you can gauge more or less. And of course, I say with a huge caveat: weather predictions are always never. I mean, they're never 100% accurate. I mean, that's why weathermen and women they say what they say, but they're never always right. I mean, they're never 100% correct. There's always some fluctuation. So you're probably familiar with the um, the platform here with AccuWeather, right? So I'm trying to plan a trip for Italy in the coming late spring or so, mid late spring. But unfortunately, I'm kind of like stuck in a conundrum because I'm between doing that and I want to go to the Southwest USA. And if you don't know, Southwest, like Arizona or so, Arizona, California, Nevada, New Mexico, southern Utah, those places are really perfect to go in spring. You could go in summer, but do you want to be in 100-degree weather? Do you want to be in do you want to be in like that type of uncomfortable air conditioning? Because it's dry. You gotta. I mean, anyways, in a desert, you have to bring a gallon of water at least. Well, personally, I would rather be when it's more pleasant. And you'd be surprised, places like Palm Springs, California, April. Trust me, it gets pretty hot already. It's already in the 90s and hundreds. So, ideally, March is like the more like peak season, better, more comfortable weather. Um, going there, and that's the thing. Some places within the desert are hotter than others. So Palm Springs, California, is actually a lot hotter on average. Well, it's not a lot hotter, but it's sure as heck hotter than places like Las Vegas. Las Vegas is actually colder, weather-wise, than for example like Phoenix or Palm Springs. As a matter of fact, if you go to weather.com, you can see more or less like those type of like, I guess, color patterns within the radar. Um, just probably pretty straightforward. But you may be saying, "Oh, this splitting hairs looking at all this." Well, trust me, you'll want to look at this because as soon as you book your flight, many times if it's like basic economy or so on, it's kind of hard to kind of like uncommit yourself to it. And the last thing you want to do is have a trip that you are just unsatisfied because of the weather and so on and so forth. So that's why I really am harping on this, because I'm going through this, and I can tell you that the weather is such a huge contributor, like, to you really enjoying your trip versus not. Because I've gone, like, for example, I went to California in May and June, but I didn't know about May gray June gloom. That's a thing, May gray June gloom. If there's a big takeaway from here, it's the number one takeaway I would say from this video is that don't go to the coast of California in May or June, because it's going to be, for the most part, really foggy or cloudy, like San Francisco and as far south as San Diego, all the way. So May gray June gloom is a thing. So keep that in mind when you're booking a trip. That's why when I think about California, I think I want to avoid May and June. April's better. um, so when it comes to this, I'm like deciding between two trips. One is Southwest, the other is Europe. I'm thinking, should I go in April or should I go in May to Southwest? I want to go in April, but unfortunately, commitments have gotten me to stuck in a pickle to essentially commit to May. And so those of you who do bird watching as a profession or as a hobby, you probably know that May is popular for seeing birds because of migration. You see rare birds and all that sort, and that's plumage season. So, anyways, going back to this map here, as you can see, this part right here, this is where Palm Springs, California is, Arizona. Look how like much cooler it gets here in Las Vegas. And you may say, well, that this is like this is not much different and all that, and it's nighttime or closer to nighttime because it's like later in the evening. True, but you can actually see forecast predictions well in advance. Well, some of it's premium; you have to pay for, unfortunately. But I've seen radars enough times to where I can kind of more or less gauge like the weather pattern, and you can actually see because with the Weather Channel, yeah, you can see monthly forecasts, like not monthly, but like you can see like I think a few weeks in advance, more or less. I think yeah, so you can only see the months actually. But if you go to another website I want to show you, it's called AccuWeather. I use it all the time. Believe me, it is a life changer, a game changer. I mean, you want to be using it because it's the predictions, of course, are not 100%, but man, are they pretty good? Because like months ago, I'm looking at like a forecast in Italy, but months ago I was looking at some forecasts for a trip I have coming up, going to Miami this week, and I saw overall forecast weather predictions were supposed to be pretty average, if not like not as warm as I would have thought. And this was months in advance. And man, has that been consistent throughout because I look at it now and it's still that way 78, 79, not much in the 80s. So trust me, you want to be using the AccuWeather. AccuWeather forecast website. I don't get paid, by the way, for this, but this is a tool I use a lot to be gauging how like what I want to like my when I'm planning a trip, exactly what week or what days I want to be going versus others. Like I thought, do I want to go late? Do I want to go later in like April? It might be too humid. If you know about Las Vegas, at Florida weather in April, it's hot and humid. I wouldn't recommend it. But you can go in like January, February, nice. Problem is, I think, and maybe it's. I mean, I'm talking from a Midwest standpoint. I don't really care. Like, I want nice weather. Like even 70s is fine. But like for some people, it's like, I don't think I'll be able to go to the beach in 73-degree weather. Like, if I would have planned my trip the last week of February, it would have been well, it would have been okay. I guess you got three weather of 81 degrees. But like, if I were to like have done it earlier in like some other like week where it was like no, yeah, like right here, then I would have not. It would not have been ideal. So that's why I kind of look at this more or less. Uh, it's like it's like the traveler's Bible as an or tool in a way as AccuWeather. It just helps a lot, and it's not just like I said nationwide. As you could see, you probably saw, I was looking at internationally, Rome, Italy. So like for example, like having gone in like last week, for example, is better. Would have been actually probably better to go to Miami than it is to go this week. Especially if you're in the Midwest right now, you're probably feeling some sort of warmer weather. So, unfortunately, I kind of got myself stuck in the situation where like I have to commit to going in less ideal weather. Unfortunately, nevertheless, it's definitely possible. It's stuff I gotta be better at, and I just want to put out this video just to show like please be looking at this because even though it's a weather forecast and it's not always accurate, it sure as heck will help guide you and understand like which week I should go. Like for this, for South Florida, I would go earlier because I avoid the spring breakers and I get nicer weather per se than what I am getting now. Look, weather, rain next week. I wouldn't want that, especially in South Florida. So, what about if you're going internationally? So, if Rome, I was looking at Rome, Italy. I thought, no, I don't really want to go like when it's March and all that because this is nice, especially if you're in the Midwest. But look, it's like raining a lot of times. It's in the 60s, which is fine. It's better than here. Don't get me wrong. But do you want to be poking and packing all that luggage full of jackets and all that? I'd rather not. That's why I look at weather and I think, hmm, with with Italy, with Europe in general, I think I'd want to pick more May. May is more ideal. See all the sunshine happening here? That's where it comes into play. But again, it comes into the whole situation like, do you want to be spending more money on airfare? Because definitely airfare is going to go up. I'll tell you that. Where is it here? Yeah, so if I choose like Italy here, as you can see, it is right here. Yeah, so you got here, and you can see the date grid, or no, not date grid, price graph here. I've shown this in previous videos. Like if you're doing, I personally would pick more than a week, more than 10 days trip to go to Europe, especially for the duration. But as you can see, look how much it goes up higher than it is during this time for a 2-week vacation. So May, June is the best time to go to Europe, weather-wise. So, but anyhow, this is like kind of what my gist is of thinking of how to plan a trip. Always be looking at your AccuWeather forecast, even months in advance. And if you want like more closer, like advance, I would say like using the Weather Channel, monthly weather, and if not 10-day forecast. That's an ideal way. But let's be real here. You can't really get away with booking a cheap flight or a good deal flight within 10 days. It's got to be probably 3 weeks at least. So yeah, just be looking at the monthly forecast if you're going to be if you're in that 3-week threshold to 1 month, of course. But otherwise, it's AccuWeather all the way. So this is Coffee Travels. Hope you like this video. If you like and comment, leave any questions, concerns. I love to give some feedback on this. I just wanted to post this video because I'm literally doing this, and I feel like I got to put this out when it comes to like deciding a trip, what specific week, and so on and so forth. It really matters, like the weather. Because do I want to be stuck inside in a hotel or whatever when it's like raining with cats and dogs? No, I don't. Or snowing. Or do I want to go like somewhere where it's like supposedly deep beach destination, but ends up being colder than what it normally is? No. So, like I said, I would look at this, but look at this and really use it as a guide. But I wouldn't take it too much as gospel either. I know I sound like being like I'm juxtaposing. I'm like saying two things at once, but like seriously, at least have this as a guide. But don't take it too seriously because, of course, weather patterns can change here and there. So this is just a roadmap, if anything. Roadmap to a trip and deciding what week to go. So hope you love this video. Leave a comment. And this is Coffee Travels. Hope to create another video on this. Thank you.